Okay, so I had an accident in a movie theater where I fell due to poor lighting. As a result of the fall, I broke my left ulna, and I hit my head, and I had a concussion, which resulted in a seizure. Lots of medical attention was given to my head, rightfully so. MRIs, brain studies showed that I did have evidence of brain injury, and so it was at that point that I reached out to the Amaro Law Firm and to try to gain a better understanding of if there's liability on the theater's part, and the rest was history. It was a good relationship was formed with the individuals at the Amaro Law Firm. Very attentive and caring individuals, and I'm okay. Fortunately, I'm on medication now to deal with some of the aftermath. But life has a positive outlook. The financial aspect of the medical care, it wasn't so severe right off the bat, but all of the medical bills started rolling in later on. But I was out of work for 3 to 4 weeks, and so there was lots of lost wages. I'm the only driver in my household right now, and a lot of restraints were put on me by my neurologist, to be able to operate a vehicle. So it was a lot of Ubering around town, a lot of money spent on transportation. It was close to $10,000 worth of expenses and lost wages. And it was kind of this financial hole that, me and my fiance found ourselves in. I was like, is there something that we can do, So from day one, I contacted through the Amaro portal online, because a quick Google search for personal injury cases Houston resulted in the Amaro Law Firm popping up, and that was my first click. A chat exchange later, and I believe I got a call from Dirk, or I was put in touch with Dirk by somebody else. But Dirk, in pre-litigation, he from day one was super attentive to me and my case, but number one priority was my health, and that it just kind of always shook me every single time we talked, because I would be expecting to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of like case and situation details, whatever, but he would just kind of pause and ask me how I was doing, ask me how's my family, how's my health, how did my appointment go, because he knew all those things. And eventually the case advanced to the point where it was, I guess it was handed off to the litigation team, and Justin and Leah and Matt in the litigation team, again, it was just a continuation of the service and the etiquette that Dirk showed to me from day one, and maybe even more so. Justin, again, super attentive, always asking about me and my health, and Leah with all the nitty-gritty details she was handling every single day. Everybody extremely responsive, email, calls, but just the care that they showed to me and my health in this case, and for my family, I feel like it's unparalleled. They work together as a cohesive unit, with they're orbiting bodies around the clients. Everybody plays to their strengths, and together they operate as this unstoppable team. Yeah, relief in every sense of the way. There was relief for my emotional burdens early on in conversations with individuals at the Amaro Law Firm, but certainly now that this has run its course, relief to the expenses, and just I just feel nothing but relief right now. I was pleasantly surprised with, I guess, the pace that we approached the resolution, being able to reach a settlement with the defense counsel and their client, especially in the nature of the economy and with the pandemic. And so, I credit all of that to the litigation team, the pace at which we were moving at. Justin and Leah, they were like bulldogs, keeping this thing going, to my benefit. But I'm very pleased with the way they communicated with the other counsel and brought everything back around to me. And ultimately, as we were advancing, the decisions were mine, and they made sure that I knew that. Together we would discuss about the most reasonable ways that we could move forward, and so I felt like I was a part of the team too at times, and that was a great feeling. And so in conclusion of the case, I don't feel like there were no stones left unturned. Every avenue was investigated, and I feel like the most reasonable avenues were the ones that were taken.